Hoka, hey, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita live stream of March the 25th, 2022. How Alita acquired the Imaginos bodies, where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gunham, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host, the Muskogee Creek, and right now I'm in Linville, North Carolina. Only for today, though, and tomorrow. I'll be back in Colorado next week. So, anyway, I kind of messed up on the time again. I'm really bad about that, telling folks when it started it's going to be on the stream. So we'll have a couple of them in here in just a little bit, I suppose. But if you want to come on the stream and just talk about Alita and talk about her Imaginos bodies or anything else that you want to discuss about Alita, there's the link. Just click on that. It'll bring you into the backstage and I'll bring you into the stream. Okay, so anyway, we all know that Alita is a cyborg. We all know that. And we know that she's been in many different bodies. And basically, we're not going to really talk about all of the bodies that she's been in. We're going to just kind of pick up the bodies that she's been embedded in from, say, when she was discovered in the scrapyard by Ito. And then, we'll go through her, say, her doll body, her berserker body, and then her, we'll even show the tuned body. We'll go into that. And eventually we'll get to the Imaginos bodies and we'll talk about the process that she got, that she took or was done on her from the point where she was discovered by Ito until she finally got the most powerful Imaginos body that she has. And hello out there, Hybrid. I see you're there too. So how are you doing? Anyway, this is what we're going to go over today. And I guess I already kind of mentioned it a little, but yeah, we're going to briefly discuss Alita being discovered by Ito in the scrapyard. And then, of course, Alita eventually, she goes through a process there, but it took a pretty good while, I guess. If you read the novelization, it's like the embodiment procedure of putting someone into a total replacement cyborg body is about 36 hours, I think. And I think in the berserker body, it was even longer than that. I think it was like 48 hours because it's so complex. And it's not just something that you drop, you kind of like unscrew a head and screw it into the body. Like there was a scene, I guess, or a panel that I guess it was in I guess called the Socket Soldiers. And that's a little bit different, because they're not quite the same. They are total replacement cyborgs, but they're not exactly the same as what Alita is. Alita's nerve endings and all that stuff are all more intimately integrated into the berserker body and even the doll body for that matter. Yeah, you're right, Hybrid. Imaginos body was her sixth body. The Imaginos 1.0 body was her sixth body, I think. That's exactly right. And then we're going to go a little bit about how Alita got her name. There's two different versions of that, and we're going to get to that one. Her original name, of course, was Yoko. So that was when she was on Mars. And through most of the Mars Chronicles, she's like a little girl. So the process, of her being, integrated or born or whatever you want to call it, was a little different in the Mars Chronicles than that backstory that we saw that's on YouTube right now, which I highly recommend everybody go watch that. But yeah, that's she really, well, I don't want to tell anybody how that one was because I want you to read the manga, but it's really kind of eerie when you think about it. And then, of course, she gets that berserker body. And then from there, we'll go on to a couple of other bodies that she had. And then we'll talk about the three Imaginos bodies. Now, before we get into this too far, one of the things that there's in the description down below, you'll see a link that I put in there that I guess I can't remember who did the interview, but there was an interview with the cast of Undone. and certainly Rosa was in Undone. It's a really super good series. I mean, you should watch it. I mean, it's done very well, and it's, I think the process they use is called rotoscopy or something like that, where it's animated, but it's like they shoot, the video of the person, and then they kind of overlay, kind of an animated type of, feel to it. So it's really kind of cool. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. But the bottom line is around, I guess, 11 minutes and 50 seconds into the interview, Rosa mentions Alita. So that was really kind of a neat thing for me to see, because it tells me that she has not forgotten about Alita, and I think she still would want to play Alita when we get that sequel. So, kind of go check that out, and we'll, we might even talk about that eventually once a couple more folks come on. So about that particular interview, and I believe Angelus might bring that up in the news tomorrow. So if not, I'll kind of remind him of it. So the process of Alita being discovered in the scrapyard, getting the doll body all the way through the Imaginos bodies, and that's what we're going to go over here today. Let's see, Lee, I think you said something about the socket soldiers. They are, yeah, you're right. They are disposable. I don't think they're as, how would you say, robust in terms of their construction and design as, say, someone who is in a berserker body or a tuned body, because the nerves are all integrated into systems, that the body can kind of transmit to the brain and that kind of thing. Whereas those socket soldiers, it's just something they put it together real fast. They have the heads of these soldiers are kind of hanging up, and then they just kind of screw them into a body and off they go. And they're kind of suicidal when you think about it, because they're in such bad shape mentally that they just, it's like they're tired of their existence or something as socket soldiers, So, but they are very disposable. So you're absolutely right, Lee. That's how that turns out for those guys. Now, they are total replacement cyborgs, but they're nothing like Alita. Okay. Alita being discovered is kind of the same in not just the movie and the manga, but even in the anime. I guess the only anime that I saw, I guess, was that one called Rusty Angel, and it's all three of these stories they're pretty much the same. I mean, Ito is out in the scrapyard. He's looking for parts that he might be able to salvage or might be able to use. And I think we all know how the movie starts. He picks up, he sees, he picks up a hand, which turns out to be the Terminator's hand, which to me suggests that Alita is in the same universe as the Terminator. So in other words, she's kind of in our universe, if you want to think of it, which makes it kind of neat. Although Maxie would disagree with me, I think he thinks they just put that in there as a prop, and that it's just kind of a cool thing to see. But if you look at the movie as kind of a reflection on reality, that's kind of the way I look at it. Not reality, but a reflection on it. And of course, we all know that he finds this eye that's in a kind of a cyborg skull, and he takes the eye out and he looks up and he sees something catches his eye, and he kind of goes over and he kind of uncovers it, and he discovers the core, the head and the core of this cyborg. And that's kind of what you're seeing there on the screen, in that, Alita has been asleep for 300 years. In the movie, it doesn't really go into how she got there. The backstory suggests that maybe she was thrown off of Zalem, perhaps. In the manga, she is thrown off of Jeru. And of course, most of her body, I guess, disintegrates through the atmosphere, is burned up, I guess. And her specially constructed skull protects her brain in such a way that she was able to survive that re-entry because when you're falling like that, your speed is 120 miles an hour max. She probably was falling faster than that when she was in the, kind of in space, I guess, if she was thrown off of Jeru. If she's thrown off of Zalem, it's not that far. Well, it's pretty far. It's 2 miles up. It's about over 10,000 feet, or say 15,000 meters, or 15 kilometers. And you wouldn't go into kind of a re-entry type of thing on that one, So, yeah, I guess there was also a suggestion that she was, and I think there's a video that Jay and I Stay put out, that he kind of goes up through the whole timeline of Alita from the manga standpoint, and she's actually tortured. She was captured in that Battle of Zalem, and tortured, and then kind of just thrown over the side. It's kind of an execution type thing. And they thought she had, they thought they had killed her, and that was the end of that. It's what they thought. But little did they know that our girl is very resilient and can survive some pretty tough environment and pretty tough circumstances. So anyway, be that as it may, she ends up in the scrapyard, and of course, Ito discovers her. Let's see, what else can I say about that? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. It doesn't. I guess you're right, Hybrid. The movie doesn't go into discovering Alita's remnants. I guess you're right. Yeah, you're right about that. They kind of just pick it up right there, and the person that sees the movie. This is what I struggled with when I first saw the first time I saw the movie. When I saw Ito discovering her in the scrapyard, I thought, well, how did she get there? That's kind of was my thought, which kind of led me to believe that there was a backstory somewhere, and that, of course, that coupled with, kind of getting on the, kind of doing the thing with Angelus where we were both reading the manga together, type of thing, going back and forth on it. Of course, then I discovered the backstory at that point, and then got into Mars Chronicles, and that even built that up even more. So, yeah, but you're right. They didn't really go into that a whole lot. They just said, well, there she is. She's laying in the scrapyard, and Ito discovers her. And of course, he takes her home, and then he, kind of, integrates her into the doll body. And that's kind of is a similar kind of process in some ways between the movie and the manga, although there are some differences. In the manga, he discovers her, and of course she, he has to go find parts for her. She's conscious before, in the manga, before she gets her entire body built, whereas in the movie, Ito has the entire doll body, and he kind of embeds her in it, and she, and we all know that story. She wakes up and, kind of, holds her arms out and kind of does that kind of thing. She does a similar thing in the manga, but, Ito has to find like legs for her, for that type of thing. He has part of the body, but he doesn't have it all. So he has to go hunt for parts, and one of the things, I think at one point she even had wheel feet, where instead of regular legs or regular feet, she had wheel feet, where she'd go around that way, I think. So I think in the anime it was also more similar to the movie, I think, than in the manga. Although they didn't go into a lot of depth into that. She just, in the anime, from what I remember, I've only seen the anime one time, and of course Ito does discover her just like he does in the movie. And then it's like they cut to a scene where she's already built, and that's what I remember of it. So, it's kind of one of those deals where they don't go into a lot of the detail of her being built by Ito, and how he got her in there. Not a lot of detail anyway. So, but anyway, she gets that doll body, and we know that story, in that that doll body is not her body. It's a body that Ito had built, and prior to discovering her, and he had it in storage. And I think that the major part of that body in the manga and the entire body in the movie, that's a similar thing where he had it stored away. Now, how this all comes about is a little bit different in terms of how she gets her name and that kind of stuff. So anyway, Alita, for a good bit of the time in the manga, or not a whole lot, but for that first volume, she's not a complete person physically. She has most of her body, but she doesn't have legs or feet. She are not the kind of legs and feet you would think that a person would have. I mean, she would just had like wheels. He put her on, then of course later on got the her legs and her feet, put together. Whereas in the movie, of course, the entire body was constructed. And then certainly she tests it out. She looks at her hands and sees how beautiful they are and all that kind of stuff. And she does the same thing in the movie. Now, in the manga, they don't have her going up to a mirror and doing that 1-inch punch from the mirror. They are 1 centimeter punch, actually, and like they did in the movie. But it's sort of similar. And you can see there. Now, the difference in those two images you see there is that really on the left, all Ito is doing is, checking her systems. He's not in the process there, I think, of building her. I think she's already been built. But it is one of those kind of deals where he has to, kind of do what you would consider preventive maintenance on her. In other words, he has to check her systems, all the mechanisms in her body to make sure that, everything's in working order and that kind of thing. He would have to do the same thing in the movie, although they don't go into that too much, because the image that you see on the right is just him building her. He's integrating her into the body. Of course, the body is already there, but he's got to connect all of the nerve endings, all of the tissue fibers, all of the connections themselves between her core and her body. And then not to mention the fact that she has that antimatter microreactor that has a lot of supporting system type connections to it, almost like you would think of a network that he has to connect all that. Now, one thing you don't get a appreciation for so much in the movie or the manga is how long that process takes. In the novelization, it does go into that, in that when Ito builds Alita, or he puts her in the doll body, and even when he put her in the berserker body, and I guess Gerhard was helping him, they talk about it, how long the embodiment procedure takes. And then the doll body, I think it was, like I said, I think it was 36 hours for that one. And the berserker body, I believe, was 48 hours. So, yeah, that's right, Lee. I guess the time constraints that we'd be looking at in the movie would not, they couldn't put a lot of details about how long that embodiment or what goes into the embodiment procedure. You kind of only get a snippet of it when you look at it on the right, so that image that you see right there on the right itself, in that, you see a lot of these, I guess, robotic, types of mechanisms that are, doing different work on her. Some of it is probably AI, perhaps. And some of it is Ito actually, looking through that scope and connecting, very fine micro connectivity. Because when you look at nerve endings, so these are very small things. I mean, they're on the size, they're basically the size of maybe a few molecules, even in some cases, or a cell at the cellular level. So you got to have some pretty sophisticated equipment. And when you think about how many neurons that a human brain has, I guess it's something like 400 million. And think about connecting all of those neurons in such a way that the brain can actually govern the body that you'd be in. That would be a process that would be very, very intensive. And probably a human being like Ito, and even with Gerhard's help, wouldn't be able to do that by themselves. There would have to be some AI that would be built into the systems that would help them to do this. So the process is pretty, it's pretty intense. It's definitely labor intensive, that's for sure, and it requires a whole lot of knowledge, because Ito would not only be what, as we saw in his I guess as we saw in his sign that he had in front of his clinic, being a cyber surgeon, he would have to know also enough detail about the human brain and human anatomy to be able to, connect this machinery or these computerized systems up to her brain and her core. And it's, I don't know if I'm doing a very good job of portraying how difficult that would be, but you could see just from the fact that the sheer number of nerve endings that would have to be connected would take a very long time to do that. And it's kind of like Lee was saying, yeah, this is going to be a lot of microsurgery. That's for sure. Yeah, it would have been nice, I guess, Lee, if they could have gone just into a little bit of that in 10 minutes and then maybe done some kind of time elapse thing, or, kind of fake this out on time, let the clock roll forward, 36 hours, something like that, make the movie a little bit longer. Of course, after I saw the movie the first and second time, I wanted it to be 3 hours long so I could see a whole lot more, of the movie itself and what went into it and that kind of stuff. But I guess they were constrained. They had to come up with like a 2-hour type thing, from Fox. I guess that was the guidelines that they were given marching orders to make this movie. And they did chop out 30 minutes of the movie. If you go on Raul Gola's website, or his not his website, his YouTube channel, he has a video in there of some of those deleted scenes, and it's pretty cool. So anyway, that's, this whole process of getting Alita in the doll body was extremely difficult. And as a matter of fact, in the novelization, both Ito, it says that both Ito and Gerhard were absolutely exhausted after they embodied Alita into the doll body. So you can see where that would be. If it takes 36 hours to do that and you're working straight through, which, think about it, you're not getting any sleep in that 36 hours. So you can imagine how exhausted you would be after, putting a human being, basically, because Alita is human. I mean, yeah, she's a TR, and probably 95% of her is machine, but she does have a human brain. So, she's definitely a human, but she's a cybernetic human. So, and just the mere phrase of cybernetic tells you that, advanced technology 500 years in the future from now, or 540 years, I guess you can imagine just how advanced cyborg technology would have to be able to pull something like this off, because we can't do this today. We can't even come close to putting someone's head on a body. We're nowhere near that in terms of our advancement. Okay, so anybody wants to jump in and join in, on the discussion? When you get tired of hearing the creak, just talk about Alita, which I can talk about Alita forever, just about. There's the link. Just jump on it. You can come in and you can kind of do your thing with us here on the stream. Yeah, Angelus is not here because I accidentally got the times messed up. Yeah, we were supposed to start at the time, but I didn't tell him the right time, so that's why he's not here. So it's not his fault this time; it's the creek's fault. Okay, so how did Alita get her name? Well, first of all, we know that Alita's original name was Yoko. When she was a little girl on Mars, that's who she was. She was Yoko of the razor blade, I think is what it is. Hello, Lee Lemon.
Howdy.
How's it going?
Not too bad. I don't have a lot.
We lost him. Maybe he'll come on. Anyway, Lee is in Colorado. He still shows in the. It looks like his device is not working or something. He might be having some. Yeah, they have to connect the microphone, so he's. Yeah, he can't. They won't let him in until the microphone gets fixed or whatever he's doing there. But hopefully he's still in. Let me send him a quick message here. Okay, so anyway, getting back to Alita and her name. Oh, there he is.
Somehow I got muted.
No, I didn't. I promise you, I didn't mute you.
Oh, I don't think you did. I think something got. I must have pressed something the wrong way or something. And
yeah, it said your microphone wasn't connected. I kind of, checked on the backstage. There's a little icon down there you can check, by putting the cursor on it, and it says, or the mouse, and it said your mic wasn't connected or something. It won't let you in if you can't talk. So,
yeah.
Anyway, before I go into further on Alita's name, is there anything you wanted to mention about, her, being in this berserker body, or how she got embodied into not the berserker body, the doll body?
Well, I was going to mention, I think in the real world, they do in fact have the ability to do microsurgery.
Yes.
With optical systems. So I think the equipment that Ito uses probably doesn't need to be AI driven or anything. I think it just probably helps ease a lot of the workload as well as make it go a lot faster.
Yeah. Well, I do know that, they can do a lot of microsurgery on your, the nerve endings on your eye and stuff like that. But when we're talking about your brain, that's
the thing. I don't think it needs to be the brain, because I think what he's doing is connecting the body to the core, and the core probably already has a lot of connection points already set up to allow this sort of thing.
Now you're right about that. I think we don't know enough about how Alita's, what her configuration is. Yeah, but you're right. Maybe it's just a matter of maybe some large subsystem being connected.
Yeah. Not to mention, there's also the fact that her cyber core is Martian technology, so it might have required a bit of rejiggering to get it to work with Earth tech.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and that would probably add a level of complexity to it. Because that's right. Because Ito did say that her core was designed to interface with that berserker body. So the doll body is not the berserker body. So he probably had to put some kind of conversion type units or adapters or whatever you want to call them, so it would talk to the body,
Very possibly. There's also the possibility that it might have been helped along with the adaptive Martian technology that might be present within the cyber core.
Yeah.
But regardless, it could have required a bit of work to get the two to work together.
And you would think that, Alita was in the military, and being a total replacement cyborg like that, they probably designed her in such a way, her body, that she could be switched, not like a socket soldier, but she could be switched, in such a way that the bodies, maybe some of the intelligence in her core would also help with that too, perhaps,
Possibly. Actually, with the advanced technology the Martians seem to have, I figure it could be just as easily as switching between bodies like a socket soldier, just on a much more advanced and higher quality fashion.
Yeah. Yeah, those socket soldiers, it's kind of like their head is on a light, like they're a light bulb, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they kind of screw them in there and off they go,
I always found them kind of disturbing, especially with the way they keep them stored, almost like they treat them more like objects than people.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's that one panel where some of those guys are just in mental anguish, and it's Maxie had said in one stream that they were like, that they were suicidal a lot of times because they didn't like.
They did show some of them as being having no sense of purpose unless they were, being used by the barjack.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, yeah, that's right. When they're not being used by the barjack, and they're, when they're, whatever they're doing, they get integrated into their bodies, then they probably had no problem with saying, okay, I don't need to live. I don't want to go. I don't want to go back to that storage unit, So, they probably had a kind of a cavalier attitude about surviving,
Yeah. They probably also keep them hopped up on drugs of some sort to help keep them in line.
Yeah. Whereas Alita doesn't need that, and I think that's because her core and her brain, for that matter, is more deeply integrated or more intimately integrated with her subsystems than those socket soldiers would be, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway. Okay, so anyway, I guess how Alita got her name, as I mentioned before, her original name was Yoko von Razor Kriega, I guess, or something like Klinga, Razor Klinga, which means Yoko of the razor blade. That's what it means. And she, Yoko von Razor Klinger. Yeah, that's what she was. So anyway, long story short, she was a different person. Of course, she's a little girl on Mars. All the way up from a toddler, to when she became, an soldier. And I highly recommend everybody read the Mars Chronicles. Now, it's a little bit, there's a little bit of a creep factor in how Alita, how she's born, or, whatever you want to call it.
From what little I've seen, it gets into some really whacked out territory.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty wacky, and it's also sort of disturbing in some ways,
Oh, yeah.
So I would, but I would highly recommend you read it, because it's a different take on, human beings, what makes someone human, Wow, you're having a lot of problems with your mic there, Lee. So it's got a lot of, I guess, extra noise in it. But that's okay.
Actually, some of that extra noise is me moving the mic out of the way so I can cough. I've got a bit of a coughing fit going on right now.
Sorry to hear that. Okay, so anyway, but yeah, Alita, on the left, you see there Alita in the movie. Ito names her after his dead daughter, whose name was Alita. So, I guess he just feels like he misses his daughter. And of course, we all know the story. He wants Alita to be his, as Alita put it, his perfect little girl, and that's not who she is. I mean, by the time she goes to the motorball track with Hugo, she already knows that she's more than just Ito's perfect little girl, So, but he wants her to be his perfect little girl, and she definitely isn't. On the right, it's a little bit of a different thing. Yeah, no problem with the coughing. Wow. So, but anyway, on the right, Ito names Alita after his cat. In the manga, his cat dies about 1 month before, he discovers Alita in the scrapyard. And he can't think of a name for her. And his assistant there is not Gerhard. It's, what's his name now?
I can't even remember now. I used to know it too.
Yeah, I can't remember his name now, but maybe somebody in the chat will put it in there, and then that we can say it. But after when Ito names Alita after his cat, he said, "I'll just name her Alita," and he said, "Wait a minute, that was your cat's name, And he said, "Yeah, but that'll do for now until she can get a real name, until she remembers her name," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit of a different twist there, but of course the ultimate result is she got the name Alita right there. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I think we discussed this a couple of streams ago, where, what the Alita in both English and Spanish, I guess it is, kind of has like a nobility to it, or it means a noble one or something like that. and it's well, not Spanish. I guess it was German. I guess not Spanish, but yeah, that she, actually, got that name, or I guess Kishiro came up with that name because he probably did a little research and said when he saw that, came across it somehow, and he probably thought, oh yeah, that'd be a cool name, for someone, to name them Alita, because that says, hey, someone who's noble, and that probably fit right into what he wanted to portray in the character. Any thoughts on that one, Lee?
Not off the top of my head, really. I mean, I don't have a lot of familiarity with some of the behind the scenes stuff with the with Kishiro, but
yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah. Now in the movie, I guess, in some of her flashback memories, and of course, in that there's that one story, about the Great War of the Fall. And it has a backstory that's different than the manga, but it's still a pretty cool story. Maybe I'll put that in the description after the stream's over. But her name, I get they didn't say for sure whether they made her name Alita when she got in the military or not. I suspect her name was still Yoko, but they gave her the number 99. And Maxie thinks that that's because maybe she was like the 99th person or something like that in that particular body, because there's a thought that, all the soldiers, that were in the military, they don't need to be individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So there was probably more than 99 Alitas in the military. There could have been thousands of them.
Now, considering you're talking about an interplanetary war, even on a small scale like the solar system,
yeah,
you could probably have numerous other colonies involved as well. So you'd need probably a fairly good-sized force of soldiers, even if they're a specialized, special forces type of unit like the Berserkers.
Yes, absolutely. So, but the fact that they probably, now this is what Maxie thinks. I don't know where he got the idea. And of course I sent Maxie the wrong time too. So that's why he's not here. So, now they'll probably give me what for after after they find out I started the stream. I did start the stream on time. I just told them the wrong time. So, but anyway, that it would probably be easier to have one mold, if you want to think of it, of a person, and then if you could make thousands and thousands of almost like you would see, like not replicants like we see in the manga, it had AR 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 12, not like that, but where they actually had these bodies, they were all the same. Now, I guess it's possible that their head might be different, but of course, Alita's skull is also, kind of a synthetic. It's kind of a really durable, almost a titanium carbon nanotube composite of some sort, that makes her skull extremely durable.
Something really advanced, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And think about how advanced you would have to be to take somebody's brain and put it in another skull and it still function. This is the technology way beyond where we are today, for sure. Hello, Chaos Nova. How's it going?
Doing great.
Cool.
Yeah, I was going to say the standardization of the bodies, that's par for the course for any military as far as I've seen.
Yeah, and they could mass.
Well, it's also just good for just how society works. I mean, cars, having interchangeable parts for cars is how you mass produce them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if a soldier loses an arm, they just give him another arm. Of course, now in the manga itself, I guess in that volume 2, Alita's not a little girl in volume 2. She's it's kind of like a foreshadowing type thing of her being somewhat of a young adult in the military. And wow, somebody's doing coffee or tea. Cool. But anyway, she's kind of a, probably a not a clone. That wouldn't be fair because that'd be more of a organic creature type thing. But the fact that they could mass produce, a soldier, they could probably make 1 million of them, and
right, but that's just part of having interchangeable parts and assembly lines.
Yeah. Now, but in the Mars Chronicles, in that version, in that volume 2, her body, I think it's a berserker body, but I'm not sure about that. It does have the ability to regrow limbs. So perhaps they don't need to replace limbs. They could probably, to a degree, if she can regrow limbs, because there was one case where I guess Princess Lymira had said something to her about she had lost her arm or part of one of her arms or something like that. And Alita said, well, my regeneration capacity is kind of running low right now. It's going to take me a couple of days to regrow my arm.
Right. Well, a lot of people could stick something back on, like Embody did. Yeah. Last Order, like he reattached his parts. I don't know. That was disgusting.
Yeah, and that would be quicker, wouldn't it, than waiting a couple of days for an arm to regrow when you can just put one on real fast.
Yeah, if you just recover the lost part.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, as a matter of fact, I mean, we do kind of have that today. I remember some years ago when I was working, for another company, but there was a friend of mine. He was kind of like a VP, and he was in a tree. He had a chainsaw up in a tree, and somehow he got off balance and he dropped his chainsaw and it cut his arm off. It cut it, not his whole arm. It cut his hand off, his left hand. And he had the presence of mind to grab his hand. And when he went to the hospital, they reattached his hand. This is back in the 70s. So, they could probably do better today, but they actually reattached his hand. And when I met him, his hand, he was pretty much, or he was well on the way of, no, Angelus, you didn't do it. I think I told you the wrong time. I don't think it's your fault. So anyway, let me put the link back in here so Angelus can get in. So, or anybody else wants to get in, there's the link right there. But anyway, he had like 75 to 80% of use of his hand back, and the prognosis for that was pretty good, So.
Yeah, like I was saying, we've got pretty good microsurgery techniques today.
Yeah, we do. I still don't think we could put somebody's brain and a core like Alita into a body.
Well, part of the problem for that is, we don't have the technology for a core. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah, hybrid, you're right. The big problem with putting someone's head, onto a body like that would be the rejection. And of course the psychological impact. Now the thing with Alita, is she's not like a regular human. If I've said on prior streams that when I do depart the planet, I wouldn't mind if they took my head and put it on his body. They'd put it in the freezer or something, But I would probably, if that was the case, all kidding aside, if that was the case, or not all kidding aside, maybe just kidding, I would probably have a pretty big psychological adjustment to go through, knowing that my body was no longer there. I was in some kind of system, like that, or a robotic type of thing, that I would be a TR. That'd be a major adjustment for any human being. But now Alita, when she from just a little girl, she was transplanted from body to body. To her, it would be like no big deal, I mean, it's like,
she's become well adjusted to it at this point.
Yep, that's exactly right. So, but anyway, she got her name, like say, from Ito, in both cases. I don't remember the anime if it went into that much detail in how she got her name. I'm not sure about that, but I do know in the movie he named her after his dead daughter, and in the manga he named her after his dead cat. So anyway, that is what it is, I guess. So Lee or Chaos, y'all got any thoughts about that?
Yeah, not off the top of my head.
Chaos, you got any further thoughts on that? Maybe I missed something.
I wonder if he's AFK.
He could be. And Angelus, there's the link if you want to come on, man. I mean, we're not going to give you a hard time. The Creek did this to you. You didn't do it. So, okay. So anyway, I guess to the next thing. Now, this is kind of what we were talking about a while ago. Is that you see in both cases she gets her berserker body, and of course in both cases this is after Gruishka or Makaku, whichever, kind of just obliterated her, pretty much, just chopped her up and that kind of stuff. And in both cases, Alita on the left, of course, in the movie, she's unconscious and all that kind of stuff. And then she goes through that neat thing where she does like a ballet type thing. And it was really nice, to see that. But on the right, this is what we were talking about a while ago. Alita wakes up and she sees a new body, and her reaction is not one of some kind of psychological trauma, that I got to deal with. And, oh my God, I'm in a body. What am I going to do? It's like, wow, a new body. He's like ecstatic about it,
Well, the manga Alita, from her origins, I don't want to give anything away, but she was adjusted to a cybernetic body at a really young age.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think, what was she, 3 years old or something?
Even younger than that, I think.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
I think as young as maybe even almost younger than 2, possibly.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So, yeah, for sure. Let's see. Heard of a body. Okay. Yeah, Ash. Was that in a movie, or was it had to be?
Which one?
Yeah. The one Ash Blackwind brings up right here. He didn't say what movie it was, but
well, I think he's saying it was something called Body Parts.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's a subplot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And the person, I guess, that they did that, he was homicidal after that, I guess, wasn't he? So
yeah, it's like the tale of the 3 surgeons.
Ah.
One guy gets a thief's hands, the other guy gets the heart of a pig, and another guy gets the eyeballs of a cat.
Jesus. Boy,
it's a grim fairy tale.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, actually. Although having cat eyes would be pretty cool, I think.
Except you really wanted to eat meat and get mice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, the meat eating part wouldn't be a problem, but the mice thing, yeah, that would be
yeah, well, the Creek, it'd be a problem for the Creek because the Creek's on a plant-based diet. So, although I have eaten meat from time to time,
yeah, that would be a problem.
Yeah. Although it wouldn't be the end of the world if I ate a piece of chicken. I mean, seriously.
I feed my cat chicken all the time, and she's fine with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not huge chunks, but I cut it up and she has some of it.
Yeah, there's a good question from Finestro right there about Doc Ito, removing, I guess at one point he had the mark of Zalem on there. And he, in the manga,
he still had a scar in the movie, though.
Yeah, he had a scar. What was funny, there's a review of the movie that is a really good review. Everything great about Alita Battle Angel, and I can't remember who does that, but we're in that scene where he's showing Alita his forehead and how he had removed it, and he said, "I'm surprised that swastika came out so easy."
There's also the mark that James Bond left in his head as a Blofeld inspector.
Yeah.
He got hit on the head pretty hard. He got pistol whipped because James Bond was out of bullets.
Oof.
Yeah, well, James Bond he's pretty badass himself, isn't he? So, but anyway, but in the manga, Ito does have the mark of Zalem, I think, throughout the manga, and in the movie, of course, he not in the movie, he never had the mark of Zalem. Of course, at the end of the movie, he tells Alita,
well, he had a scar, and he had a scar, and he explained that was because he cut the jewel thing out of his head to Alita. Yeah. So he was willing to do some things to himself.
Well, I would suggest that mark of Zalem might be more than just a jewel. It might even be some kind of kind of small system of some kind that they can track.
I think it's just part of how he wants to forget about it.
Yeah, probably so. Hello, Leonardo out there. Absolutely. And hello, Finestro also. So, pretty cool. And Ash, all you guys, neat that you could drop by anyway. There's the chat, or in the chat, there's the link rather. So if you want to come on, do so. And I guess Angelus had to split for some reason. So, or else he'd probably jump on. So
something might have come up.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, in both cases, Alita, of course, she gets hacked to bits by Gruishka/Makaku, and and she gets that berserker body. It's a similar process there. Now the big difference is in the movie and in the manga, when she goes to the Kansas bar, in the movie she's in the doll body, and when she goes to the Kansas bar in the manga, she's in the berserker body. So it's a little bit different, in terms of the timeline, but still a very similar thing, as she goes from a doll body to the berserker body because her doll body gets hacked to bits. So,
yep.
Any other thoughts, guys?
I think the big difference, though, is that, she went to the old ship with Hugo doing it, and Hugo just said it as an off remark that he found it years ago and he stuffed it in the basement.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the movie is she discovers the berserker body, and of course in the manga Ito has the body and he just gives it to her. So and he doesn't have he doesn't have the I guess the internal conflict with giving her the berserker body in the manga like he does in the movie.
Yeah, he seems okay with it generally in the manga.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, because he willingly gave it to her, although you'd wonder why he wouldn't give it to her at the beginning instead of building her from scratch.
He saw her as a kid in the beginning, to be honest.
That's true.
Not to mention there's the value of the body. He might have been saving it for some reason or something, but when the emergency came up...
You mean he wants to pawn it?
Maybe, or maybe he wanted to study the technology in it.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, apparently it had that advanced nanotech weapon system in it.
Yep, and it had certainly it had the plasma weapon in it. So
yeah, that too.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that she is...
The consumer is the worst part of the berserker body, but that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I guess what's neat about Alita in that berserker body is, you look at her face, and it's like she looks like such a cute little, sweet little, young lady and all that kind of stuff until she gets in a fight. And man, all hell breaks loose.
Whirling blades of death.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she is definitely a killer, isn't she? I mean, but you see that far right picture, that sweet little smile. Yeah, don't let that fool you. So, so anyway, that's her in that berserker body, I guess. And then here's some of the other bodies that she was in, and of course on the left, that's not all the bodies, but that's like 4 bodies. Oh, there's Angelus. Good day, Angelus.
Good day.
So the creek did it to you again, didn't he? Jeez, I get this damn time zone thing gets me every time. So anyway, but anyway, how's it going down there in Brisbane there, Angelus?
I'll let you know when I wake up.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I just woke up and got on stream.
Okay.
That.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess Hybrid and Finestro, were they having spaghetti or something? I'm not sure. They're making jokes about it in German, I guess. So anyway, on the left, you see there that first body there, the one looks what would be the closest to you. That would be, I can't tell if that's the berserker body or the doll body. It might. I think it might be the doll body, but I'm not sure. It could be the Berserker body. And then the one next to it is the motorball body, and then the one next to the motorball body is the civilian body. That's the body she's in when she goes to the Kansas bar and sings and stuff like that.
I was just going to say that first body there, that's definitely the Berserker body. It's got the ventilation holes in the knee.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I can see him just above the...
It is, but I know what you mean after motorball, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Ed was an idiot and they lost it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Poor old Ed, though. He didn't deserve his end, did he? But anyway.
Well, it kind of came back to bite him because he was a drug addict.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But anyway, that civilian body, that's, she'd go to the Kansas bar and sing and play keyboards and stuff like that, and had her own apartment and all that. Kind of living the life of a regular single girl, except in a total replacement cyborg body. So anyway, and then that body that's up in the air there with a cape, not to be confused with something like Superman's cape. But anyway, that's her Imaginos 1.0 body.
No, I think that's her tuned body, actually.
Oh, is that her tuned body?
I think so. Because it looks like the outfit she was wearing in the Badlands arc.
So that's the tuned body. Okay, so the tuned body, yeah, I guess so. Look at it. It's very similar to that picture on the far right over there.
Yeah, the boots are identical.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, that's the tuned body. And then, of course, in the movie, she has three bodies. She starts out in the doll body and then gets the Berserker body eventually. And then at the end of the movie, she gets the motorball body. And I guess the whole idea about the, getting out of the, not wanting to be in the Berserker body is because that's the body she was in when Hugo died and she couldn't save him and stuff like that.
That was in the manga. I think in the movie, possibly, she's actually going to use the motorball body simply because it preserves her Berserker body, which has unreplaceable technology in it.
Yeah, I hope you're right, because I'd like to see her in the Berserker body in the sequel. So
yeah.
Now Maxie really likes the motorball body.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, that's his favorite body. Now the Creek's favorite body is the Imaginos 2.1 because she's the most badass in that body.
So you ought to see the Imaginos 1.5 in the video game. I think I have some snapshots of it. It's where she has the short orange jacket with the purple.
Oh, is that in Martian Memory?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Where is that? Because I don't remember seeing.
It's after you go to Jeru. You get that there at the end of the
You've played that, haven't you? You played that level, didn't you?
I finished it. Yeah.
Wow, because I didn't see that. I'll have to go and check out your channel and see.
My videos got corrupted, so I'm replaying it and doing it bit by bit.
Ah, okay.
But I did part of a tune today for live stream. I decided I'm not going to do the same parts of the game for recording and live stream.
Yeah, I highly recommend everybody watch Chaos play that Martian Memory. I mean, yeah,
at least now I can talk about it.
Yeah, well, exactly. But it's not like like watching the movie. But hey, it's pretty cool. It's Alita. You see her fighting, and she goes up to Deckman and talks to other people and stuff like that. It's pretty cool, even though it's 20-year-old game, isn't it, or something like that. So
1998, 24 years old.
Yeah. But it's still pretty neat. I mean, you still get to see Alita doing stuff, so it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So Lee, which is your favorite body?
Well, if you're talking about the manga, her Imaginos bodies, both of them, I think I pretty much like.
Yeah.
In the movie, her Berserker body.
Yeah. What about you, Angelus? I know what Angelus is going to say, but I'm going to have him to say it anyway.
I'd probably go 2.0.
Yeah.
Then 1, and then 2.1.
Yeah. Yeah, I like both of those bodies too, because she's the most powerful in those, I mean, and plus she's got that cat tail in 2.1. I really like that. So, Anyway, I'm not a cat person. I'm a dog person, you know, although I did have a cat years ago, but, you know, so. Let's see. A hybrid says something about the motorball body here. I guess only 2 minutes sequel. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't see enough of the motorball body, did we, in the movie? Of course, they didn't have time for that, but yeah, well, I would, you know, even though the Berserker body in the movie is my favorite body, I do want to see her more in that motorball body, you know, because it's a pretty cool body, you know, and just see what she can do in it, you know. So
We just need more Alita.
yeah, we do.
Come on, Disney.
Yes. Yeah, I tell you what, Disney's aggravating me too. I'm you know, I got some stock in Disney. I might sell that stuff if they don't give her that sequel pretty quick. So, you know, I'm just, you know, I just want that sequel so bad I can't stand it. So,
man, no kidding.
Yeah, I guess we all do.
Well, I need to write more of that script.
Say
Even
again.
I need to write more of the motion comic script.
Oh, yeah. Any more
still
thoughts?
Better than nothing.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Chaos.
It's still better than nothing having a motion comic.
Okay. So anything else about any of these bodies? Now, think about this. If putting her in any of these bodies, and I think if you remember, you know, not too long ago, probably 3 or 4 months ago, we had that that stream that was kind of the trivia game type thing. I think Cran won that thing, didn't she, Angelus? I'm not sure. Cran won I think Cran beat Odd John Hoots, I guess, at, you know, in that. But anyway, yeah, I think, you know, we came up with she was in 10 bodies. And it could be more than that. Of course, one of the bodies is a human body. So, you know, she does.
Oh, yeah, the flesh and blood body when she gets reborn in a couple different versions of the.
Well, one of them was in that one of those side stories, you know, where, you know, I think it was at the end of, I can't remember if it was the end of volume 2 of the original manga or if it was, well, now I've got the box set, so it's going to be different.
Well, the original ending.
In the White Room, that's just virtual, though. It's not real. It's a construct.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about.
Yeah, the original manga ending. It was she got reborn in that tree of life as a fully organic human.
Yeah, because doesn't Figure 4 kind of break a wall or something, and she comes out of
it's a capsule. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and she's in a human body, you know. So, and of course, it shows them in a really romantic embrace, you know, and stuff like that, which was kind of cool, you know. So,
unfortunately, they killed that ending, and it can't end that way anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it did kind of in the what is it?
Last Order. Yeah, it did. Although I don't want to spoil the manga, but I highly recommend everybody go read all the manga. You know, but yeah, toward the end of the
that's
manga.
That's what I say. It kind of, sort of did in Last Order.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, it's half right.
Well, she does get a human body, although it's not like she's born. You know, I mean, she's. You know, but anyway, I don't want to say anymore.
Yeah, it's like an old Superman story. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's right. So, any more thoughts about any of these bodies? If you remember, if 10 different bodies, if it takes like anywhere from 36 to 48 hours to embody her in one of these bodies.
Well, it took Ito that long to do it using the limited technology he had from the junkyard. If it were a official Martian facility, it might have only taken half an hour.
Yeah, it could be. That could be right.
Because you'd need a fast turnaround if you've got soldiers and you get back out on the battlefield.
And how long did it take them to get her in that tuned body? Any of you know that? Chaos?
We don't know. We just know that she was in the White Room, quote unquote, virtual world for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah. Yep.
She didn't perceive it as that long, but it was that long.
Yeah. Yeah, to her it wasn't very long at all, wasn't it?
We don't know. but she didn't. She was like, "What?
Yeah.
It's gone." I mean, Shamira's is an adult now. What's going on?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Shamira and I guess Koyomi too, right?
Well, in the manga, yeah, Quinn was like 14 when she was out of there. But she was around 3 when she.
Yeah, when she was in the first part of that. Yeah, and then the 14, the teenager, and then eventually she's in her 20s, isn't she? Somewhere.
Koyomi's 18 at the end. Well, she's 18 at the end of the original series, but Last Order shortened it so that it isn't no 5-year gap happens.
Yeah,
we're not even on the 5-year gap in Mars Chronicles.
Yeah, well, I know that Alita, there was that one at the first part of the Last Order, or that last volume or whatever it was of the Last Order or whatever it was. She does mention the fact that, she recalled that it was 14 years ago since Ito had found her in the scrapyard.
So yeah, there was a 10-year period in which she was working for Tuned.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
but 6 of those years were in the white room.
In the room, yeah. But if it was 14 years from that point in time when she recalled that, of course, that's in her mind. It could be longer than that, couldn't it? Because if she didn't perceive that being in that white room for 6 years.
Well, so it goes like this. It's so originally was that when Koyomi was born is when Alita is found. That's the same year.
Okay.
15 years before that, both Chaos and Hugo were born, and Destiny Nova is variable. So, but basically, let's put it this way: originally, it was just Koyomi's age.
Yeah.
Koyomi was born in the start of the series.
Yeah. But I think that would put in the Last Order, particularly coming up to the end of it, that would put Alita probably in her early to mid 30s, I think. By the time she gets to the end, I guess, when she's, I guess, the other Alita, is what Ito called her,
Right.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. She probably is.
Let's just say AR-13 because that's what they say.
Yeah. Well, she's probably 35 years old at that point. So,
somewhere around mid 30s. Yeah,
she's definitely a woman there, whereas at the beginning there of the movie, she's 14 or something like that, So,
well, according to some notes I was reading on another website, that was Cameron's notes, Ito perceives her as 14, even though her actual age is closer to 18.
Yeah, that's right. Well, in that backstory, it mentioned that when they embodied her, when they took her out of that titanium body, that in her training body, that when she was in the military, and they transported her over to, or transferred her over to a berserker body, that she was 17 when they did that, and then you got to figure it was probably a year, with additional training and then getting to Earth to fight in the war. She probably was 18 years old, so. Yeah.
Not to mention, there's no telling how long it was.
Right.
She actually served in the military.
In the movie, Koyomi's already like 15 or 16, like Hugo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, I like Alita in any of these bodies, really. What do you think, Angelus?
Oh, sorry, I was just going to stop staring.
Oh, okay. She's got uwu in any of these bodies, I think, So,
but yeah, all I can think of is that you just want to see more Alita and more cyborg bodies. So, yes. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that sci-fi cyberpunk is made out of. So,
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't just like smash the adaptation records, but I mean, it's up there with the best of the just sci-fi movies in general. So you just want to see more.
Well, they definitely got enough material. I mean, they got enough material to make 5 or 6 or 7 movies if they want to do it.
Definitely. I'm afraid I have to go. So,
all right, Lee.
I will.
Well, thanks for dropping in, man.
Oh, no problem. You guys have fun.
All right, we'll see you. So, yeah, anyway, I guess, I would like to certainly see in the sequel that Alita, certainly in that motorball body. I know Maxie would have Maxie would have he would have a very good time seeing her in that motorball body. And I also want to see her in the tuned body too. I want to see that,
Of course.
Yes. And then ultimately, of course, after we get the third, fourth, or fifth movie, I want to see her in the Imaginos body, So that would be cool. Now, I don't think in any kind of sequel or trilogy or beyond that, I don't think they're going to put a tail on her. So they'll probably just have one version of the Imaginos body, but that's okay.
Maybe like the game though, where it's like where you add like an orange jacket with the Imaginos or something.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah. So
I have to find a snapshot of that.
Yeah. If you have a snapshot on your system, share your screen. We'll put it up here.
It's on Facebook at this point.
Oh, okay.
On the Martian Memory page.
Oh, okay. I'll go check that out. So, okay. So, any more thoughts about any of Alita's bodies before we get to the Imaginos bodies? And there's 3 versions of that we're going to hit. We're not going to talk about the Imaginos 1.5, I guess, because I didn't know it existed because I hadn't seen Chaos play that game yet. So I've only got Imaginos 1.0, 2.0, and 2.1. So, and we can certainly talk about 1.5 when we get to the 1.0. We can do that too. So, okay, there's the Imaginos 1.0, and that's the body that she gets after, I guess, Nova blasted her to smithereens. I mean, with that baby bomb, she's driving along there.
And he ruined the car.
Yeah, that's right. And, she's basically killed at that point, but they bring her back,
Cloned her, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And she's in this Imaginos 1.0 body. And that thing is crazy, crazy powerful, I think, It's hard to imagine that body. I mean, it's hard to compare it to like the Berserker body even because it's got so much more. Now we've had this discussion too about what Alita's abilities are in this Imaginos body or any of the Imaginos bodies for that matter. One thing we've discussed is that in one of those stories at the end of one of the, I guess I can't remember which volume it was, where she is kind of running and she perceives a blue shift in front of her and a red shift behind her. So that says, okay, she's moving at a relativistic speed, Now,
well, you see the bullets in the air, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So she's moving pretty freaking fast, and in the Berserker body, I was able to calculate her average speed when she was attacking those Centurions in the factory. But in this body right here, now Maxie said, we had this discussion that whether or not her moving at relativistic speed is canon or not. Well, I don't get too invested in that, because canon, not canon, who cares? I mean, to me, it's a story. It's about Alita, But anyway,
well, it just matters what's within that story in and of itself.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I mean, the movie's an alternate universe. That's how it goes.
Oh yeah, that's just the way it is, So, and it's up to the viewer, the what they want to see in the movie and their enjoyment of it and stuff like that. But anyway, be that as it may, given that in that story, in this body, she was able to move at that speed. That is millions of times faster than she would be able to run in the Berserker body. Say the Berserker body, I was able to calculate that she was moving an average speed of 125 miles an hour. And that's with her jumping around and swinging her sword and doing stuff and dodging and turning and stuff like that, where she'd have to slow down to do some of these things. Where if she ran in that Berserker body in a straight line in the movie, she could probably run 200 miles an hour. But in the manga, in her Berserker body, she can run at Mach 6.8. So what that means that even that speed, this Imaginos body, you know, given if you accept that she can move at relativistic speed, is still millions of times faster than the Berserker body. So, and her perception, it would be similar. Her perception or her reflexes, if you want to think of it, would be on the order of picoseconds. You know, I was able to calculate her reaction time, you know, in the movie when she deflected that bullet, being somewhere between 5 and 10 milliseconds, 10 milliseconds tops. So that is pretty freaking fast. That is like 20 times faster than a human's reaction time. But to be able to move at these kind of speeds, now that was the movie. If you can move at Mach 6.8, you got to even have faster reaction time. But moving at the speed that she may be able to move at in the Imaginos 1.0 body, you would have to have crazy, crazy fast. I mean, just inconceivably fast reactions, you know, to be able to not run into stuff, you know. Now, if you're moving at the speed of light, you know, you might say, well, who cares, you know, if you run into stuff or not. But my contention is, if you want to miss stuff, if you don't want to run into stuff, you have to have extremely fast reactions, like on the order of picoseconds. You know, I mean, stupid, crazy ass fast is what that is, you know. But anyway, she gets this body after Nova blows her up, and then of course she gets put back together, you know, in the Imaginos 1.0 body. So that's how she gets this body. So what do you guys think, Angelus or Chaos?
Well, the worst thing about this all is that the worst thing you see in the manga in terms of ridiculously overpowered isn't in the original series is not actually Alita, though. It's quantum energy from Chaos, where he just blows up stuff just by thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, Chaos, yeah.
Not to mention, the craziest thing is Chaos makes a second one of himself to go talk to Den at the same time. It's like he's Dr. Manhattan or something.
Yes. Yeah, that's right, you know. So anyway, but Alita getting this body is, I guess, totally different than the Berserker body in a lot of ways. I guess Nova built this body, didn't he? Chaos or Angelus? I don't remember. I think
he did. He had samples from the Berserker body.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is in the video game, if the Berserker body essentially has cells with their own coding.
Yeah.
Basically, from cells you can create another Berserker body.
Yeah.
Clone it.
Yeah. But the thing about this Imaginos body, it's similar to a Berserker body in one way, is that you, of course, your own mental self-image type thing, the body will conform to it. But I think this body has even more capability to do that than the Berserker body does, if I'm not mistaken. It's been so long since I've read the manga, I can't quite remember all of that.
It is, that's true, but like usual, something really powerful is only meant to last so long.
Yeah.
I mean, now she's got essentially a better tuned body as an interplanetary agent, but that's nothing like Imaginos.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Imaginos is crazy ass overpowered. I mean, any of the three Imaginos, or like the Imaginos 1.5 body that you mentioned in the game, any of these bodies are crazy OP. Any of them.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that the boss has a Berserker body, but he's still able to be. He's an interesting kind of guy, because for a big guy, you think he'd go down easy, but he doesn't.
Well, tell us about the Imaginos 1.5 body in the game there, Chaos.
The Imaginos 1.5, let's say that Alita can actually store like weapons inside that body. I don't want to sound too gruesome, but like she literally opens up an arm, sticks a gun inside the arm, and it's stored in there.
Wow. Damn. What does it now?
Like she can like and she like opens up the hand and the gun barrel pops out of the hand. It's kind of gross, kind of weird.
Well, the thing of it is, though, Alita is kind of like a like a little lady, you know, what is she, like 4'11" or something like that, and she can store
4'11" in the manga, and I think Rosa Salazar is like 5'3" or something. So
yeah, that's still little. And so she stores these big ass guns in her, you know, in her.
With the 1.5, it can't. She doesn't like change the volume of it, so it can't be a big gun that she's storing inside her arm or leg.
Okay.
Obviously.
Okay. So in other words, it's kind of like RoboCop. You know how he can put that gun in the holster that goes in his leg. Yeah. Okay. I wonder if that's where Kishiro got the idea.
I think the game was made from his oversight. I have to read more into how much oversight he had on the video game, but I think it had his blessing to it.
Oh, okay. Because I know he did.
I mean, it has some things that show up in Last Order Mars Chronicles, and it's obviously before Last Order started. This is 1998. I mean, you have other things in the. I could send you a whole presentation on things that are unique to the game, such as like Monster Nova.
Boy, if you have videos, you can just upload them to your YouTube channel and I can watch them.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah. So anyway, you're working on the. You said your video for the Imaginos 1.5 body was corrupted, right? So you have to.
I have to redo the game, but it's going to be all right. I mean, right now I'm just working on the soundtrack. It's April, and I'll be happy when April 12th through 15th is done.
Ah, okay, cool. Yeah, I look forward
to that. Tax week is all you need.
Oh, God, don't remind me. I hate taxes.
Well, when you're accounting, it's busy for you, too.
Yeah, it is. So, you know, I have to do 2 sets of taxes. I got to do my corporate taxes and I got to do my personal taxes. But anyway, okay, Hybrid says there's a song that Blue Oyster Cult did called Soft Doctrines of the Imaginos. So I got to check that one out. Holy mackerel, I didn't know that existed. So, wow. Malevolent shapeshifter. Wow. I guess you could say the Imaginos body is kind of a shapeshifter type thing, isn't it? I mean, she can do a lot of weird ass stuff with that body. Anyway, any thoughts about this body there, Angelus?
Sorry, I was just sneezing. No, it's just like I said, it's probably the least favorite out of all the Imaginos bodies, but
yeah,
leagues above all the others.
Now this body's got a brain chip in it, so.
Oh, eventually.
yeah, that's right. But yeah, I mean, because there was that one scene where I guess she goes up to Zalem, and what some of those kids say called her a robot or something. And she says, "I am not a robot." So at that point,
but she didn't have the chip yet.
She didn't have the chip then. But
she got the chip because of Supernova and Melchizedek.
Yeah. So that would be in her Imaginos 2.1 or whatever it was. So yeah. So anyway, this body's crazy ass overpowered for sure. Okay, Destinova or Supernova. There are several versions, Finestro, of Nova. You know, I mean, there's the Nova toward the end of Last Order. He's starting to get senile, I guess, and he's getting decrepit and stuff like that. But who can blame him? The guy's like 400 years old or something like. He's almost as old as Creaky. So anyway, he's how many different versions of Destinova are there? Or just Nova? I mean, who knows? I know there was one in the Mars Chronicles. You even see Nova in there, and of course, Alita. That's in the year 2200 or something like that, or not 2200, but in the 23rd century, I think, or it could be the 22nd century. I'm not sure which. So if he's alive then, and he's still alive when Alita gets revived, and even gets into the Last Order. That's an old dude right there. That's a real old dude. Okay, any more thoughts about yeah, that's right. That's right, Finestro. Creaky. That's right. Nothing to do with my bones creaking. So anyway. Okay, the Imaginos 2.0 body. Now, I'm not sure that is the Imaginos 2.0 body. I might have the wrong picture there, but now I don't remember how she gets this body. So Chaos, you or Angelus are going to have to refresh my memory on this. How does she get transferred from Imaginos 1.0 to Imaginos 2.0? How did that happen? Do either of you know?
Oh, wait, I'm muted. I can't remember, but probably has something to do with when she gets the last order.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's crazy. I forget.
She doesn't have the Fata Morgana at 2.0, does she?
Not that's when she gets the brain chip switch, but Supernova destroyed the first Imaginos.
Okay. So this body does, so Nova gives her the Imaginos 2.0 body, I guess. And he gives her a brain chip here, right? Now her real brain is, and I can't remember this either. And I got to go back and read that manga. But anyway, does she have both a human brain and a brain chip here, or does just the brain chip?
Just the brain, and then just a chip.
Okay.
It's presumed that the clone at the end of Last Order of her was the brain, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah. Well, if they, I don't want to give away because I want everybody to read the manga, but if she's a clone, that brain would be a replication, I would think. But they don't say, do they? They don't really tell you.
The brain would have its own senses and memories.
Yeah. Oh, here comes Angelus with a screen share to help us out here. Yeah, what does that be? I can't read that. What does it say in Angelus?
Following its destruction by Supernova's Sekka attack, Alita's brain biochip was fused with the Fata Morgana and was reborn from Tunguska.
Okay.
That is changing her appearance and also gaining a powerful new hacking ability thanks to her direct connection with Melchizedek.
Yeah.
In this new form, which would be 2.0.
Yeah.
And then 2.1 is basically when she gets reborn.
Well, she gets enhanced, doesn't she? She gets
enhanced by Jupiter.
Yeah, that's right.
The body. She also gains the cat style during the 10th zenith of tournament finals. The body exhibits ability to generate itself and evolve.
Yeah, because she gets blown. She gets obliterated in the Zot and then comes back. And when she comes back, she has that 2.1 body because she has those wings, when she comes back, which is pretty cool, I think, And she's connected to the singularity there too, isn't she?
Yes, that's probably what makes her the 2.1 is basically getting further enhanced by having two supercomputers.
Yeah. Well, that's right. So she, I hadn't considered that. That's right. She does have two supercomputers now at her disposal, but anyway, that's right. So I guess that, with that, oh, there we go. So I guess, I know Nova said, Destiny Nova said, or it wasn't Destiny Nova, or it might have been Supernova. I can't remember which one it was, but he makes a statement that he gave her Imaginos 2.0. And now when she gets the new body, he says, oh, now that's Imaginos 2.1. Because I remember seeing that panel in the manga. So Zapan has a tattoo on his forehead from a Blue Oyster Cult band. Interesting. Yeah, I guess Kashiro does like Blue Oyster Cult. Maybe he does. So anyway, any more thoughts about Imaginos 2.0? Now, Imaginos 2.0 is hooked up to Melchizedek, but hasn't been connected to Jupiter or the Singularity yet. So, because she, that's right, Destiny Nova puts her in that. And then when she gets to this body right here, this is, after when she's in the Zot, I guess she gets, obliterated, blown to bits or whatever. Again, she seems like getting blown to bits, and then comes back with this body, and she's connected to Melchizedek and the supercomputer on Jupiter, and she's connected to the Singularity. Is that right?
Sorry, excuse me. By then, yes, she is.
Yeah, yep. She is crazy OP in this body. Because if you piss her off in this body, she could not only rip your arm off and beat you with a wet end, she could just rip you to bits. I mean, she wouldn't have to just rip your arm off; she'd just rip you up. Is what she'd do if she gets mad at you.
It's about now that, like, in terms of her ability, that she breaks away from Nova and becomes, I guess, independent. Like, basically the only masters that she really has now is Melchizedek and Jupiter's Singularity.
So she's and this is at when she's fighting, she gets this body when she's fighting Toji. Is that right?
Because
I guess in her fight with Toji, she gets blown to bits, then she comes back. So, or somehow gets disassembled or whatever, This is Creek's favorite body right here, by the way. And look at that one on the right. That's kind of sexy, actually. So that body on the right is.
Because don't forget, in Mars Chronicles, she doesn't have the wings, but she doesn't have the tail either. So.
No, it's not an Imaginos body she has by then. She's lost it.
Yeah.
I always thought that it still would have been the same body, but she just chose to get rid of it.
She lost it on Venus somehow.
Yeah.
Venus is apparently where the Berserker tech was made in the manga, but somehow it's gone.
Yeah.
Maybe they salvaged it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Finestro asks, is she a Saiyan in this body? I mean, that's a different universe and everything. I would say her abilities are probably comparable to Saiyan, in this body. I wouldn't say she's Super Saiyan, that would, because there's several levels of Super Saiyan, I mean, it's not just one layer. You're not just like in the, in the Dragon Ball world, you're not just a Saiyan or Super Saiyan. There's like 20 layers or 20 levels of Super Saiyan, something like that. And I don't think she's a Super Saiyan in this level, but I do think she's probably, her abilities in this body are comparable to perhaps maybe the first level of Super Saiyan, maybe, but certainly
or maybe
not.
just Mark's invincible when he's younger.
Yeah. She's certainly not like Goku is in his most powerful form, I don't think. But I think in this body, she'd be a match for any of the superheroes in the DC universe, or certainly in the MCU. She probably would be, That's why, we had a stream on this. We've had a couple of streams on how she would do against Thanos, Steppenwolf, and Darkseid. And in this body right here, she has a real chance of beating all three of them, one-on-one, not all together, but one-on-one, because of her connection to Jupiter and the connection to Melchizedek, because that, being connected to supercomputers like that, she's, she can kind of instantly run, kind of a simulation, if you want to think of it, and kind of, very accurately predict the outcomes of several, millions and millions of scenarios, and know what's, almost like, predicting the future, except not just predicting it, knowing it, So she would have that advantage on all three of those in this body. So I think, and that's probably one reason she beat Toji in the end, because she's got this body now, and he doesn't stand a chance when she's in this body, Now, she was in the Imaginos 2.0 body when she started fighting Toji. So anyway, guys, any thoughts about this body? Now, she has
many good things. It did not last. Sadly.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it kind of does, Chaos. I mean, I don't want to give away the manga too much here, but the end of Last Order. But there are for you. Everybody should read this. There's two versions of her at the end of Last Order. So but anyway, read the manga. It's really great. So, and Angelus, you and I got to start doing that again. We got to start reading the manga again, like we did before.
Just say the word.
Yeah. When I get back to Colorado, I might start with the first volume of not Last Order, but first volume of the original manga. When we start going there, and I'll just shoot you a DM or something, because I've forgotten a lot.
Do you still do the live streams with the like reading along with the book, or no?
Radio Chaos does that, and I think that's going to be not this weekend, but the next. I think
okay.
they're going to do we're going to kind of go over the manga on that, the next next volume in the read that we do, so. Okay, any other thoughts about this one?
No, just wings over cat tail for me.
I'm gonna, I like that body on the right. That's wow, that's a great body. So, granted, it's a fictitious character now, folks. Let's not get too worked up, but we do want to see more Alita, that's for sure. So,
but yeah.
Anyway, there's her three bodies. I kind of agree with you, Angelus. Imaginos 1.0. I mean, any body Alita is going to be in, I think she's got that uwu going. But I think that's my least favorite version of the Imaginos bodies, I think. So, and of course, my most favorite version is the 2.1. So, oh no, Finestro has not read any of the manga. Come on, Finestro. Holy moly.
You can probably get them out of your library.
That's right. Well, you're not that far behind Vladi, although I think he's read a couple of volumes. So,
I mean, the library where I am at has about half of Last Order and all 9 of the original.
Yeah, there's I'm gonna put this in the.
I mean, it seems pretty common for them to be the volumes of the manga to be in a library.
Okay, now that's not a bot that you see right there. Creek just put in. There's a website called mangaal.net. Maxie turned me on to that thing, and you can, all the Alita manga is in there, so you can, and it's free to sign up. There's no membership fee or anything like that. So anyway, you just click on that, sign up, and you can start reading the manga there, Finestro. Finestro says he's Bloody 2.0. So, yeah. So I guess the one on the far right is Creek's favorite body. What about you, Chaos? Which is your favorite body overall?
The tuned.
The tuned body. Okay. What about you, Angelus?
The winged Alita.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like the wings aspect.
Yeah. Those are actually but Damascus blades, aren't they? So I think that's what Maxie told me. Yeah, she's pretty cool in that body. Okay, so I guess that's pretty much it for Alita and her getting to her Imaginos bodies. Did we miss anything, you guys? One other thing, Chaos, that Imaginos 1.5 body would kind of, to me, suggest that there's an Imaginos 1.1. I mean, not Imaginos, I'm sorry. Yeah, it would be Imaginos 1.0, but there'd be a 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Yeah. Are there 5 or 6 of those bodies or what?
No, it was 1.5 where she got the ability to open up and stuff things inside of her. So
God, that's weird. So
that happened in Terminator 3 anyways.
Yeah.
The TX.
Yeah, that's right. The TX can do that too. That's right. And RoboCop, he can do that to a degree. He has that, I guess, like a holster in his leg. That he can put a.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he puts a pistol in there and he can take it out.
The Auto 9.
Yeah, that's right. So Alita can do a similar thing than that. So I don't think we missed anything.
But the game just did it that way to explain why you're carrying in your inventory so many items.
Okay. I wonder if they got that from RoboCop. They may have.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But she kind of looks like a person more than RoboCop does.
Yeah, RoboCop looks more like a robot, doesn't he? So he's as opposed to a person. I guess you could say he's a total replacement cyborg, although ancient technology compared to Alita. So okay, so I guess we didn't miss anything. And yes, Alita loves her Uncle Creek. Because I am Alita's uncle. Adopted uncle, anyway. Okay, so anyway, and certainly Alita loves the Elite Army. But I highly recommend you click on that link in the description down below of the Undone interview. They had the entire cast of Undone on there, and the interviewer, kind of goes back and forth with all of them. There's like 5 of them there, and it's a pretty neat interview, and it tells you a lot about Undone. It's a really good series. It really scored well on Rotten Tomatoes, and they're going to have a second season starting at the end of May, I think it is, or it could be the end of April. I can't remember.
It's just more Rosa. Sorry.
Yeah, more Rosa, which is what we want to see. Now we want to see Rosa do Alita again, but hey, seeing Rosa anything is going to be good with the Creek. I can tell you that. So, but anyway, click on that, and if you'll. I encourage you to watch the whole interview because it's pretty cool, how they discuss, that what's it called, rotoscopy or something like that animation style.
Rotoscoping, yeah.
Yeah. And they talk about the plot and the characters, and it's really, really cool, But if you go to the 11 minutes and 50th second, Alita does talk. I mean, Rosa is Alita, but Rosa does briefly talk about Alita, and in that one section there, she says, she starts talking, I did Alita, and she says, and I remind everybody on the cast that I did Alita. I always tell them that, and they kind of joke about it. She said, no, I really say that. I really tell them I did Alita. So that tells me that Rosa still wants to do Alita. She really loved the character, and she would play Alita until her dying day, I think, if she could, so yeah, but anyway, I highly recommend that. Go look at the click on that link down in the description, and you'll see the interview. So, and yes, that's right, Finestro. The entire Alita army loves Alita. There's no doubt about it. So, and we love Rosa Salazar too. That's for sure. Okay, there's our queen right there. She is #1 in the Creeks book. Every time, every time I see a picture of her or something, I always put 4 hearts on it, because she's great. Super actor. She did a great job in Undone too. That's for sure. I have not seen Brand New Cherry Flavor yet, and I've been meaning to get to it, but I just hadn't gotten around to it. So it's kind of outside my comfort zone. I'm not much into horror oriented type stuff, but if it's got Rose in it, I'm going to have to watch it. That's for sure. But no, Rose is number 1 in the Creeks book in terms of being an actor. She's great, and I think she was snubbed, or not just her, the whole movie. The whole movie was snubbed, not even getting a mention at the Oscars. At the beginning of 2020, to me is a travesty. But anyway, it is what it is. So, but she's still our queen, and we still love her to death. So,
at least we got the Oscar for the best fandom.
Yes, we did get that, didn't we? Yeah, she gave us that, didn't she?
She did.
Yes. Angelus, are you going to be the host tomorrow, or is that going to be Maxie?
I'll be hosting, but Maxie will be there as well.
Okay, you want to talk about this a little bit, or?
Basically, similar to Creaky stream today. Basically, we'll be diving into what sort of cyborg, or what sort of cyborg body or enhancements would you have in the world of Alita. And without giving away too much, I guess the rough bullet points is, will it be civilian in the military? Would it be to do you for like to make your job better or perform your job better? Would you do it as a combative nature? These are the kind of details that we'll be discussing tomorrow. And yeah, like I said, I can't really say much because most of it is like the juicy details that will be covered.
Yeah, it's going to be that's going to be a fun stream, I think. I'm going to be managing the stream, so it's going to be. I get to, even though I'm managing a stream, I still get to sit back and see what folks say about it. Of course, Creek's got his favorite thing. He's going to stay there, and I'm not going to give that away. So, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Angelus.
But yeah, definitely come join us. Type in the chat.
I'll send a message. I'll send a message with some attachments to probably supplement tomorrow. Cool. I'm gone.
Cool.
My father's turning 64 tomorrow.
Cool.
So he's got his birthday.
Oh yeah, fair enough. That's all right. Well, if you can't,
I'll send a few pictures there for some things you can include though.
Oh, by the way, Angelus, when you do the news, are you doing the news tomorrow too? I guess you're going to do them both, aren't you?
Depends. Like, I might get Maxie to do the news. We'll see how the cookie crumbles on that one.
Okay, because what I'll do, I'll put in the group chat, the Radio Chaos group chat. I'll put the link for that Undone interview because I think we want to cover that in the news too.
Oh yeah.
Finestro Foxfire is alive. He definitely is. I'll have to invite Foxfire.
He's got his growing channel right now too.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I guess we hit that one pretty good. And I guess we just, like we do every week, why is this image here? Well, that's because the Creek likes it and he's running the stream. And that's her Imaginos, I guess, 2.1 body because it's got the wings on it.
Damascus blade.
That's right, the Damascus blade wings. That's right. And paraphrase Gawishka, I am only here for our girl and the Alita Army. And of course, all of us in the Alita Army are here for our girl. There's no doubt about it. So on that note, unless Chaos, you got any last words?
No, good luck tomorrow. I'll send a few images and writing things about something to be there since I won't be there.
Cool. Okay, we appreciate that. Angelus, you got any last words?
No, just that we need to do that call to action.
Yes, we do.
What we're not just like the call to action itself, but what we're saying as well. That's what we need to do.
Okay. What are we going to say other than what's on the screen there?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what
Because Alita's telling us what to say, and she's insisting that we say it. As you can see,
Unbreakable.
Yes, ma'am. We will say it.
Unbreakable, like the 2022 trailer.
That's a good movie. I enjoyed that movie.
And our trailer is almost 2K, so people are seeing it.
Well, what I liked about that movie was, even though the main character was invulnerable, he could still be drowned. That's what I enjoyed about it. So anyway, they always find a weakness, don't they? So okay, I guess on that note, we'll do our call to action on my count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Film those sequels, baby. And we will see you tomorrow on the Radio Chaos stream, and we'll see you next week on the Alita stream. Good day and good night.